Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Trending Thursday here on YouTube. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always glad to be here. Joey's in the background. He's my producer. He's the guy to make sure that everything is going good. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation. And by the way, Joey, say hi.
Hi.
There you go. So if you're brand new, welcome. If you're not brand new, then welcome. If you have questions along the way, please do not be afraid to ask them. All right, a couple of things. One, if you're brand new to the channel, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you like the content, especially if this is your first time here. And if you have not already, hit the bell icon to get alerts when it's time when we get new content. And one last thing. If you like what you see here today, do not forget to hit the like button. That's a good way for our channel to grow. Thanks to you guys, our channel is continually growing. All right. So I want to get hot and heavy into it. And with everything that's going on in the world today, two things that I never talk about. One is politics and the other is religion. So I want everybody to be cordial to each other. As you can see, everyone can see the chat in here. So just be cordial to each other. Respect everybody in the room, because if not, Joey is going to drop the hammer on you. That's what it comes down. Right, Joey? Sure. Where's my thing? Where's my sounds?
You know, my hammer?
What are you, Thor? You got a hammer? Where's your hammer?
I might need one.
You might need one. All right. So Joey's getting my sounds for me so that I can make sure I put some sounds out there just in case. It's my own little Kramer box, but I didn't say Kramer. It's my own little box of stuff. So there we go. That's my way of saying thank you all for being here as well. All right, so we're going to get hot and heavy into what's going on. And the biggest thing that we always start off with is market timing, because we're one of the only companies out there that actually time the market. For those that you may be new, for those of you who may be new, when we say we time the market, we don't guess at what the market is going to do going forward. That's not what we do. We're trend followers. We follow the trend of the market and keep our subscribers on the right side of the trend. So from a market timing perspective, let's take a look at what's going on. So before I bring up the market timing, what's going on in the market? Well, we have a president-elect that's being contested. So that's a lot of what's up in the air. And you know what markets don't like? The markets don't like when things are not set up right. They don't like volatility, and the market responds to that. And prior to the election, the market was like, okay, this is going to go, this is going to rock and roll. And then after we now getting a little bit more contesting in the market or in the presidency, the market's not feeling that. But as a VectorVest subscriber too, we're also showing you the market is at a level of looking for a top. We're going to get into that in a second. What else is going on in the market? COVID-19 is getting worse across the country. And did you know, Joey, that in North Carolina, we're one of the top 10 states with the increase in coronavirus? So, you know, Joey and I, we do sit apart in here. You never see him on the camera because he's away from me, but he's here as part of what's going on. All right, so keeping those things in mind, unemployment is getting better. Less people are filing for claims. What else is a big thing? The lack of a stimulus in the whole idea of COVID-19. So there are a lot of things behind the scenes that are affecting the market. But what we're going to do is we're going to get into the software, and we're going to look at the home page of the VectorVest software to give us an idea here in Trending Thursday what to look for. All right, weed is big in GRWG. I know. We're going to talk about that. Stop talking. We're going to talk about some of these stocks, all right, already. So just give me a little bit of time. Oh, all right, just give me a little bit of time. So when we're sitting here looking at the market timing graph, what are we looking for? Well, we look at what's going on with our main indices all across the board. All of the major indices are down today. The Dow is down 1%. That's the leader today to the downside. The NASDAQ, which was the only indice holding on today, finally went negative. The S&P 500 down about 1%, and our very own VectorVest Composite is down about 0.9%. The VectorVest Composite is the indicator that we use for timing the market. Why? Because it tracks the move of 8,358 stocks in one ticker symbol. That's what we use to track the trend of the market. Now, when the Dow is down or the NASDAQ is down or the S&P is down, we're looking at about 4,300 and 500 stocks respectively. All right, when you look at the NASDAQ tracks more stocks than both the S&P 500 and the Dow, but the NASDAQ is very tech heavy. Most people use the indicator of the S&P 500, either the SPX or the XPY, for the purposes of tracking the 500 stocks in there to gauge whether the market is up or down. But we have an indicator that tracks over 8,300 stocks. That's what we use for market timing and to see where we are. Now, as a VectorVest subscriber, let's go over to our color guard, which tracks 3 of our market timing indicators. Again, that price of the VectorVest Composite, we track it both on a week-over-week and day-over-day basis. RT is a VectorVest indicator, one of our core proprietary indicators, which looks to tell us if the market's in an uptrend or not. This indicator is cast on a scale between 0 and 2, where above 1, the market's in an uptrend, below 1, the market's in a downtrend. And the BSR, or buy-to-sell ratio, every stock in our database gets a buy, hold, or sell recommendation every day, and we look at that relationship of buy recommendations divided by sell recommendations. Right now, with the buy-to-sell ratio at 2.10, for every sell in the system, there's over 2 buys. The market is still showing signs of strength. We use this color guard like a traffic light, which the preponderance of color you see, green. What does that mean? It's okay to be long in the market, but wait. We have another indicator. The indicator known as the MTI, or the market timing indicator, which looks at all 3 of these indicators, the price, the RT, and the buy-to-sell ratio. The MTI is also cast on that VectorVest scale between 0 and 2. It looks at what we call the underlying trend of the market. When the MTI hits a level of about 1.5 to 1.6, we're telling you that the market is at a region where it's looking for a level of not only resistance, but a level of pullback or a level of the market looking for a high, a market high. So from that perspective, or a market top, from that perspective, a VectorVest subscriber has the ability to know this is a good time, even though there's a lot green in here, to tighten the stops on the stocks that you own. Now, if you want to get this information on a daily basis, we do offer a 99-cent trial. That 99-cent trial will give you access to all of this information on a daily basis. All right? So that's where we stand as far as what's going on, just as a cursory view, looking at the homepage of the VectorVest software to get a feel of what you should be doing. So based upon what I just said, it's okay to be in the market, number 1. Notice that our guidance says VectorVest advocates caution, so that's number 2. So it's okay to be in the market, but to do so cautiously. And with the indicator of the MTI, we're also adding to that sense of being cautious because the market is at a process or at a point where it's starting to look for a top. All right, so cursory, this is what you do. Manage your stocks with the trades, with the stops that you have, tighten stops, just to make sure that you don't get blindsided. And another thing, don't give back more than half of what you've made in your trades. All right, so let's start getting into the stories behind what's going on in the market. Number 1, let's go over to, is this the right one, Joey? No?
Yes.
Yes, it is. All right, so U.S. job openings are rising closer to pre-pandemic levels. So people are slowly but surely getting back into the work world. The market or the world is starting to reopen. But put those 2 things together, an increase in coronavirus cases and the market, the world reopening, it's a give and take here. I like that more and more people are getting back into the workplace. Why? There's still no stimulus. So people are getting to a point where they've got to go back to work because right now they're not getting any stimulus. So just keep that in mind. So that was one headline story. Measure of the labor market activity is the latest sign of improvement for the economy despite the rise in infections. You know something? People are going to get to the point where if they're not going to get stimulus, they've got to get back to work. And I think that that's exactly what's going on. Now, let's talk about the stimulus. Fed says coronavirus remains a top U.S. financial risk. The Fed Reserve's financial stability reports highlights uncertain outlook. Now, the Fed last week decided to keep the Fed rates the way that they were, really low. They're not moving that, and we've been historically low now, pushing probably a year or so, thereabouts, where the interest rates are low. Cool thing about that is that when you go borrow money, you can't. It's not a lot of money you have to pay back on that kind of a spectrum with the rate. But are banks lending money? You know, banks are going to lend money to people who really don't need it. Think about that. All right, that's a thing. Speaking virtually at a National Association for Business Economics annual meeting, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell warned of potential tragic risks if Congress and the White House do little to support the recovery. And that's big. The Fed has been saying a lot that we need stimulus. Go over to the next story. There it is. U.S. needs a really, really big relief package to keep its economy afloat. Think about this from this perspective. If you don't put money into the hands of the people that need it, they can't spend it. And the way that the economy gets better is that we put money. Now, at some point in time, you got to understand the stimulus costs money. All right, and that adds to our deficit. I think we're at $27 trillion in deficit. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But in order to to keep the economy going, to keep the economy, as it says here, afloat, people need to be able to spend money to put it back into the economy. All right, and if they don't have the usable flow of money to do that, the economy is going to stagnate. And the Fed has been saying that we need a relief package. We need a relief package. We need a relief package. Hopefully with the president-elect or whatever happens. Again, I'm not worried, I'm not really concerned from that perspective. I just want to do what the market tells me to do and follow what the market is doing. But I think no matter what, Congress needs to sit down and hash out something to help the people that are in need, especially if the Fed is still talking about that as well. All right, so these are some stories behind the economy and what's making the economy do what the economy is doing right now. I'm going to get back into the software. All right, and I'm going to go to our watch list. We create a watch list every week, and this week it's going to be in the watch list viewer. We're going to go to the YouTube trending Thursday. And what's today's date? 11/12. There it is, 11/12/2020. Here's the stocks that we will be discussing today. And some of the stocks that you guys were asking about already in the room are in my watch list of stocks to cover today. So we're going to start off with the two indices that we utilize for looking at the market, which is the SPY and the VVC. And I'm going to answer a question. RSI, what does that mean? Relative Strength Index. That's an indicator. It's normally a technical indicator, RSI, relative strength index, helping you to decide whether the market is overbought or oversold. Another technical indicator to help you to tell you if the market is overbought or oversold is stochastics. So both of those pretty much do the same things. They have specific values to determine whether the market is overbought or oversold. And that's probably a question that was asked in the room. There you go. Mash Larry Transportation said Bitcoin RSI is off the charts. I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin today at all. I've already done a story on them a couple of times. VectorVest is letting, we talked about it last week or a week before, VectorVest is letting people who are looking at cryptocurrency know that it is on the move, all right? But it's not one of the stories that I'm going to talk about today. I want you guys to concentrate on what I'm trying to give you now, all right? I understand there's a lot of crypto people in here. I respect that. But for those people who are not interested in cryptocurrency at this time, I did tell you again that VectorVest has shown that it's on the rise. Let me show you what's going on now so that you guys can take advantage of it. All right, you guys are still asking for stocks. Let me let you know I will give you an opportunity to look at individual stocks. So the two indicators that we use for tracking the market are the SPY or the S&P 500 ETF and our VectorVest Composite. If we look at them right now, both of them are down today. All right, but I'm going to turn around. I'm going to put these on a 3-month graph. Right click, view the stock graph, and let's go put it on for a 3-month graph. This is what the market is doing right now. Now, I've got a couple of things on my graph. One, I've got a moving average. I'm looking at a moving average, an exponential moving average, 20-day exponential moving average. A couple of things going on with the S&P 500. The price of the 500 is still above the exponential moving average, which is good. But coming off the high, which was on 11.9, all right, big pullback. That was a big pullback in the market coming into the president-elect. Big up day in the market, but a lot of stocks pulled back that same day as well. We did that in the Jockey Club. We took advantage of some stuff, but the market did pull back big time. And coming off of that high from 11.9, the market has pulled back a down day today. But remember, we were talking about from the VectorVest perspective that caution is advised. Well, that makes sense. The price of the spiders is still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Watch volume. Volume is starting to fall. Here's our indicator relative timing, which tells us if a stock or a market is in an uptrend. It is in an uptrend, but starting to pull back a little bit. Once RT gets below the value of 1, the indicator or the market will be in a downtrend. So caution is advised. One day doesn't make a trend. This is why I'm still saying tighten the stops on the stocks that you currently own. And here's our VectorVest Composite exhibiting the same characteristics. Volume is falling as the stock price or the VVC is falling. Down day to day, but still above the 20-day exponential moving average. RT is above 1, but falling as well. So again, what do you do now? Manage the trades that you're currently in. If you're going to pick up new stocks, make sure that they're rising on the day that you buy them, and look at least a 3-month graph to determine whether or not it's a stock that you want to hold long-term or not. Be careful. If the market is at a point of looking for a high, be careful on the new stocks that you pick up. If you get a good up day, a good up day and the stock is moving, don't be afraid to take advantage of it. Just put a tighter stop on it. Any stock that you're currently holding, just make sure you don't give back more than half of what you've made. In a cautious time, it's a time to be diligent in your trades and manage your trades. Plan your trades, trade your plan. All right, let's see. Are there any questions? Is there any questions before I move on to my next story? All right, let's see. Alex says, what pattern is that on the S&P? It's like a head and shoulders, but the head is below the shoulders. I'm not, again, I have a hard time looking at patterns like a cup and, cup and saucer and cup and handle. Thank you, Joey. Like you know what you're talking about.
I've taken a lot of options courses.
You've taken a lot of options courses. My new shirt is not buttoned. Why didn't you tell me I didn't button the collar down on my new shirt?
Else tell you?
No, I just realized that. Everybody, you like my new shirt?
Your logo.
And my new shirt with my new logo. All right, as people are asking questions, please show a list of stocks again. Oh, I'll get back to it. I'm going to be in that ninja back and forth. You notice my shirt not only says VectorVest, but I've got a hashtag VVNation on it. We need to start selling these shirts, Joey, I think. I agree. All right, so better than the blue shirt. Really? Wow, you just trashed my blue shirt. I know, better than the blue. Just really trashed it. Wow. Does Joey dress you every day? No, he doesn't.
I'm supposed to.
Or whatever. Right? All right. So I'm looking for questions in regards to how you should be trading in the current market. The head is below the shirt. I can't answer that. No, stop. This would be a shoulder. This would be a shoulder. This is a head, but the shoulders are above the head. I don't know if that's considered to be a head and shoulders. I'm going to ask for the people in the room to help me out with that. I have a really hard time of really deciphering those. All right. Glenn, please leave the shirt on. I'm not taking it off. What's a good point? Now, again, any stocks you're asking me about, I'm not going to answer those questions. So I'm going to start actually just ignoring them for the time being. I will give you guys an opportunity to look at stocks. If there's no questions, and how to effectively trade the market as you see it right now, I'm going to move on to my next story. Does the tech companies and EV have a future? I've covered that in past Trending Thursdays. Again, if you're new, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel. You'll be able to see all of my trending stories, and they're branded so that you can see what stocks I'm talking about in each story. All right, so that's probably the best way to go. All right, so if there's no more questions right now, let's go on to my next story. And we're going to move on to my next story. And what is my next story? Coronavirus. Coronavirus, big news hit last week. I just think that it's important enough that we got to talk about it again. Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, 90% effective. Now, as I've watched this, that's a big number. That's a great number. U.S. EUA application expected this month, which is for the month of November. I wonder if I'm looking for it. There's a lot of stocks in here as well. See all the stocks on the move. Now, there was something in here that I saw as far as another story. We were moving a little bit fast to get the stories put up today. The first interim efficacy analysis of the large-scale phase 2/3 clinical trial evaluating Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine showed it to be more than 90% effective 7 days after the second dose in preventing infection in participants with no evidence of prior SARS-CoV-19. There was a story that I saw there. The story was considered through the final analysis of 164 confirmed cases. No, that wasn't it. There was the story that showed then. Oh, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. 94 confirmed COVID-19 cases were evaluated. That stands out glaringly. So we're talking about a vaccine that's 90% effective. That's the story. But only 94 cases were evaluated. That's tough. All right, that's tough. And am I being a negative Nelly about it? No, I'm not being a negative Nelly about it. I'm being a realist about it. That's not a lot of cases when you start to think about putting out a vaccine to millions of people. All right, that's my opinion. So the story is good. The story is good, but I need a little bit more confirmation behind this. All right, so that's my opinion behind it. I don't always like to give my opinion, but part of the story tells me only 94 cases were tested. That scares me a little bit. Now, also in this phase, so that's Pfizer and BioNTech. Another one, Eli Lilly gets emergency okay for COVID-19 treatment. I'm not going to try to say that word except for it's a walla walla bing bang. Ching chang, bang bang. Ting tang, walla walla bing bang, ooh ee, ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bang bang. That's it. That's walla walla bang bang. On its treatment, shares up 4.7%. That was on November 9th. Eli Lilly has received emergency use authorization from the FDA for that name, a treatment for mild to moderate COVID-19 in adult and pediatric patients. All right, so mild to moderate. So at the beginning phases of COVID-19, this is a drug that can be used possibly. Lilly said it will begin shipping treatment immediately to Amerisource Bergen, ABC, which will distribute it as directed by the government's allocation program. That's something else to take into consideration. In all of these companies that are still trying to get to that point of a COVID vaccine is distribution. There's going to be a lot of people out there who have cases, and I think that going forward, as just as life continues, we're going to get 3 vaccinations now going forward. You're going to get a pneumonia shot, you're going to get a flu shot, and I think now we're going to be incorporating a COVID shot. Which COVID shot can we use? Well, as you can see, there's a lot of different companies on the cusp of getting something out there. Safety and effectiveness continue to be evaluated, but that name was shown in clinical trials to reduce COVID hospitalizations and ER visits in patients at high risk for disease progression within 28 days after treatment when compared to a placebo. It is not authorized for patients who are hospitalized or require oxygen therapy. So that's another stock in the list of coronavirus that's getting closer and closer to a vaccine. And another one, Vaxart, and this was today. Vaxart vaccine shows encouraging action in animal studies. So this one is in rats or mice. And this one didn't show, whereas unvaccinated animals lost 9% total weight. Additionally, unvaccinated hamsters had over 2 times the relative lung weight of orally vaccinated hamsters. You know something? You ever watch TV and it talks about, hey, this drug will do this, but the side effects are, well, you're going to bleed from your eyes, your nose is going to turn upside down, your lips will fall off, your hair will fall out, your ears will turn upside down, your heart may blow up, your hands may swell, your arms, but you could take this drug. So I'm thinking that this is one of that as I look through here, a little bit of weight loss or a big kind of weight loss could be an issue. The data also showed comparable mucosal protection between intranasal and oral routes of administration. So either up your nose or oral routes or taking it by mouth. There you go. So that's another stock. And one more stock in here is Moderna. This came out yesterday. Moderna surpasses target cases for first data readout from pivotal study of COVID-19 vaccine. Now, here it is. Let's see. Announces that the first interim analysis of results from a large-scale pivotal study of the vaccine mRNA 1273 will include substantially more than the 53 cases it was expecting. That's another low number of cases that companies are coming out with, hey, this is great, this is going to be a great drug. Man, these numbers of testing, the number of people being tested really needs to go up. All right, so these are the stocks that I'm going to be looking at. VXRT, mRNA was supposed to be on the other side. That's supposed to be on the coronavirus. mRNA. I don't know why it was under the wrong one. All right, so let's take a look at these stocks in the software. So this is the news. Let's go take a look at them. mRNA, BNTX, Lilly, and Vaxart. Now, just to let you know, the people that are out here, and VJ, notice that I am checking the facts on these stories. That's why the numbers of people being tested is coming to my mind. All right, and I'm bringing that to your attention. The news is one thing, and I think a lot of us get caught up and captivated by the news. I'm reading the stories. So that you understand what's going on behind the news. All right, and then I'm going to use the software to analyze the stocks to determine whether or not these are stocks that you want to know about. All right, Pfizer. Where's my Pfizer? Is my Pfizer not in here? mRNA. Didn't I have PFE supposed to be in this list? There it is, and Pfizer. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. There's my 5 stocks. All right. There's my 5 stocks. So the first thing, especially for the people who are brand new to the room, when I set up a VectorVest watch list of stocks, they are automatically sorted by our master indicator, VST, which shows the best combination of value, safety, and timing. The stocks that have the best combination will migrate to the top of the list. Notice the stocks that are at the top of the list happen to be the coronavirus stocks. Why? Because they are really starting to move. But this is where the rest of the story comes in. All right. Every day we give a value on a stock, what we feel the stock is currently worth. All right. mRNA is trading at $86 with a value of $39.47. That just means that people are willing to pay a premium beyond what the stock is worth. When we look at value, we look at things like earnings. We look at earnings growth rate, amongst other things, to give a really good value or valuation on a stock. The stock is trading at 86 with a value of 39. The stock is over its value. People are willing to pay more or pay a premium to own the stock. Well, the stock is a hot stock. This industry is a hot industry because a lot of people are trying to get to a vaccine. That makes sense. All right. BioNTech trading at 101 with a value of 122. Interesting that BioNTech is under its value. Our mantra is to have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price in a rising market. Eli Lilly at 140, value of 185. Also undervalued. These are stocks that you wouldn't mind owning because they are trading under their value. Pfizer at 37 with a value of 33. Well, it's within 10% of its value. We're going to call Pfizer fairly valued. We look at Vaxart, a price of $5.27 with a value of 68 cents. This stock is clearly over its value. Now, because the stock is overvalued doesn't altogether make it a bad stock. Let's do deeper analysis. Our next 5 indicators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are our core proprietary indicators, and all of these indicators are cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Makes it real simple. If the indicator is above the value of 1, it's favorable. If it's below the value of 1, it's unfavorable. Relative value, RV, looks at a stock's long-term price appreciation potential as compared to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond. Let me make that simpler. When you buy a bond, it matures. After it matures, you get all of your money back with a little bit of an interest. It's not a gangbuster trade, but it's a relatively safe trade. Relative value above the value of 1 tells me that the stock should outperform that safe investment in a AAA corporate bond, in this case, by 28% because it's at 1.28. Whereas BioNTech, below the value of 1 at 0.96. This means that AAA corporate bond should outperform BioNTech. So if I look at BioNTech, I now know this is probably not a stock that I want to hold long term, even though it's undervalued. Eli Lilly has got a relative value, 1.46. This stock has got great upside potential as compared to a AAA corporate bond. Eli Lilly, definitely a stock I wouldn't mind holding long term. Go down to Pfizer, relative value is 0.91. Below 1, that AAA corporate bond should outperform Pfizer over the next 1 to 3 years. And the same thing with Vaxart with its relative value of 0.31. All right. That's the upside potential. The next indicator, relative safety. It's an indicator of risk for the stock. Relative safety above the value of 1, safer stock. It looks at the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Does this company meet or exceed its earnings expectations quarter over quarter, year over year? Well, Moderna, it's got a relative safety of 0.97, a little more riskier stock because it's below 1. BioNTech, it's got a relative safety of 0.9. This is also below the value of 1, a riskier stock. Whereas Eli Lilly, with a relative safety at 1.22, not nearly as risky. Eli Lilly, undervalued, got good upside potential, and it's a safe stock. Now, through this kind of analysis, I can make a better decision no matter what the news is telling me. Pfizer's got a relative safety of 0.96, a little bit more of a riskier stock. And last but not least, Vaxart. It's got a relative safety at 0.71. It is also a riskier stock. Now, we build in a technical indicator when looking at analysis of our stocks. Relative timing tells me if the stock is in an uptrend or not. Relative timing above the value of 1, the stock is in an uptrend. The higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is as well. All right, Moderna, it's got a relative timing of 1.71. Nicely in an uptrend. So interesting, if I'm looking at Moderna, it is overvalued. All right, people are willing to pay a premium for it. It does have good upside potential. It's a little riskier. This is what we call an aggressive stock. A stock that's got good upside potential, but you're willing to take a risk on the stock. Good upside potential, a little bit of a risk, and it's moving up. Boom. Moderna, as long as you know that it's a little bit more of a riskier stock, but you're willing to take a big pop in it, that's the type of person that's going to invest in Moderna. BNTX, relative timing at 1.6. The stock's in an uptrend. The fundamentals are not there, though. This is more of a trade. This is more of a trade where Moderna is more of a swing trade because it's got upside potential. Whereas I look at Lilly, good upside potential, good safety, but what's hurting it right now? The stock is not in an uptrend. With a relative timing at 0.89, the stock has got good upside potential. It's not a risky stock, but it is in a downtrend with RT at 0.89. So Lilly just tells me this is a stock that I don't mind holding, and when it's in a downtrend, because it's a stock that I might want to hold long term, I play options on it. I may sell a covered call on it. Let's go down to Pfizer, also in a downtrend. Pfizer, the fundamentals not there, and it's in a downtrend. This is a stock that you trade as you can. It's not a stock that you want to hold long term at all. And Vaxart, same kind of scenario. All three of our indicators are below the value of 1, not a stock that you maybe want to hold on to long term. And last but not least, we take all three indicators, wrap it up into our master indicator. One of the best stocks by master indicator is Moderna, which is the stock that is overvalued, that's got good upside potential, a little risk, but moving up right now. Folks, this is how you analyze a stock. For 99-cent trial, you can analyze any stock that you want the same way that I just walked you through. All right, so if I'm looking at these stocks, let's right-click. Let's view the stock graph. Let's go see which ones I like. There's Moderna. All right, let's put this on a 3-month graph. Moving higher than it was 3 months ago. Looked like it pulled back, found the level of support. Now nicely above our 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is pretty steady. RT is moving up. I wouldn't mind owning this as long as the stock is 12 cents above the high. But wait, what's going on in the market? Remember, from our market timing perspective, the market's at a level where it's looking for a top, right? If I decide to pull the trigger on a stock like Moderna, I'm going to make sure that I have tight stops on it. All right. So Moderna, I like equity curve wise. BNTX pulling back. Not below the 20-day exponential moving average yet. This is where I let the stops manage the trade. Volume is falling. Understand that if I'm looking for a stock, I want to see a stock rising in price on rising volume. Volume is conviction. RT is starting to pull back, but still above the value of 1. Keep your eye on that if you own it. Next stock, Eli Lilly. A lot of choppiness in the stock. The stock has spent a lot of time below the 20-day exponential moving average. In that indicator, RT, that tells me if a stock's in an uptrend or not, Eli Lilly has spent a lot of time underwater by relative timing as well. I'm not ready to touch it just quite yet. Just with today's activity, not only gapped down, but did pull below the 20-day exponential moving average. So there again, the news is there, but the analysis gives you better useful information. All right. Next stock, VXRT, more of an aggressive trade. We already know that. All right. By the analysis that we gave, now we're looking at the graph. The stock did move above the 20-day exponential moving average today. The volume has been rising, but where's it at right now? Right at the 20-day. If I'm going to look to get into this, I really want to see the stock go above the 20-day exponential moving average first. All right. Next one, Pfizer. Even with the news of the vaccine, and this is interesting, the stock is going down. So why? Remember, we looked into the story. How many cases did they analyze before they start to say that it's 90% effective? And look at what the stock is. I think people, just like I'm just showing you, is seeing that. I don't think that's enough information to tout that it's 90% effective at this time. And I think investors are saying the same thing. All right, it's right there at the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is falling, and the stock is currently in a downtrend. All right, with all of that being said, does anyone have any questions about? And someone said that Eli Lilly was the best stock to take a look at. You know something? I'm not sure by way of the graph it's the case, but it's got good upside. Who said that? That was Ed and Denise. Was that Ed and Denise? Yeah. So I'm looking at the relative value, looking at the relative safety, what's hurting. So the fundamentals are there. The timing is not there. What I do like, if I look at this list, what I do like is Moderna. All right, Moderna has no track record, says Ed and Denise. All right. Moderna's story is out there. What am I most important? What is most important to me when I'm looking at a stock? the analysis, the stock's got great upside potential. I'm going to take a risk in investing in it, and the stock's in an uptrend. The stock's in an uptrend is important. Why? I want to make sure that the stock that I'm buying is a stock that's rising. All right, Ed and Denise, does that make sense to you? I'm not, and I agree with you on Eli Lilly that the fundamentals are there, but the stock is in a downtrend. I'm willing to take Eli Lilly as long as the stock is back in an uptrend. That's what I'm looking for. Any other questions? Any other questions? You guys are talking amongst yourselves, which is a kind of cool thing. Huh? All right. Is it really? Wow. All right. So that is you're not marrying the stock. Just take it for a while. And I'm with that on Mark. All right. So I'm going to close out of that. Let's move on to our next story. All right. Excuse me. Let's move on to our next story, which is in the weed world. Woo-wee. And I only got this one story, and there's a story I'm missing for somehow or another. I'm missing a story. That's on me. Growth generation gains 10% after lifting guidance. Ramton says, thank you for the breakdown. I like what the software offers. Would like to know what charting you are using. I'm using the VectorVest software, Ramton, and Joey has been putting a link in the room to take advantage of the platform for 99 cents for 30 days. So that is the platform that I'm using. All right, and he actually just pinned it to the top of the chat for you if anybody's interested. If you are interested in the software, you've got to click that link so that we know that you guys are coming from the YouTube channel. All right, so that we know. That's why Joey's putting that link. He pinned it to the top of the chat. Click on that link if you're interested. 99 cents for 30 days, but we want to make sure that we are tracking the people who are coming from YouTube. Why did PFE, CEI dump stock? Sandy, I don't, when I looked at the Pfizer graph, I saw that it was moving down. A lot of it, I think, Sandy, just my own opinion by what I see, was the lack of cases that were being looked at to provide that 90% number. That's what I'm doing. And Venkat, I'm going to get to that. Growth generation gains 10% after lifting guidance. Growth generation gap of ETF, it misses by 11. Revenue, 55 million, beats by 7.63 million in revenue. Well, so let me tell you, I got a lot of marijuana stocks that I'm looking at. All right, I got them all on my watch list.
So you get a lot of marijuana.
Why are you going to say that I had a lot of marijuana? Listen, that ain't the case. Listen, I do it again. That's not what I'm saying. I ain't saying I got a lot of marijuana. That's not.
You got a lot of marijuana stocks.
Listen, marijuana stocks are good. At least that's what a friend told me. Are marijuana stocks good? I'm asking for a friend. All right. So, with that being said, the Venkat just said something that was interesting. One of the reasons why marijuana stocks is moving, I think that with the president-elect, the Democrats, and again, I don't like talk about politics, but this does lay into marijuana stocks and why they're moving. They're looking to decriminalize marijuana. And if that's the case, I was looking, as the votes were coming in for president, I was looking at some of the referendums. A lot of people are on board with legalizing marijuana, and marijuana stocks are blowing the doors off. So this was the only story that I had. I think I had another story, but for some reason or another, I'm missing it. My own fault. I could blame Joey, but I'm not going to.
Go first.
All right. What's the number one stock in our list by way of VST? Growth generation, marijuana stock. Canopy Growth for this in here. Oh, I remember. I know the story and why we didn't get it, but it was that APHA, Afria, buying up Sweetwater. All right, the brewery company. And that was the third company that I saw that had a combination of marijuana along with a brewery or some kind of a drink company. Molson Golden did it. And another company did it with, I think, Aurora or CGC, Canopy Growth. All right. So there is something that's going along with marijuana and putting out. Do you remember when energy drinks first came out on the scene? They took off. Monster was in, and they took off, and 5 Hour Energy and all of this. I think the same kind of phenomena is going to happen with marijuana, type stocks into drinks as well. All right, Constellation Brands. Thank you, John. That was the third company. Constellation Brands paired up with a marijuana company as well. I am thinking that Joey's going to be drinking a lot of marijuana drinks. Once they come out, he's going to be supporting them. He really is. So me, on the other hand, I don't do that kind of stuff. Not me. Can't clap for me because I don't do that kind of stuff. All right, what else is in my list? I've got MJ, which looks at the whole industry. I want you to take a look at that when I get there. All right, what else is in it? There's Alphria. There's Aurora Cannabis. There's Tilray. These are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks and one ETF on the whole industry. Analyzing real quick, Growth Generation, overvalued. Canopy Growth, overvalued. I still think that even with the referendum coming in, a lot of these companies have been overvalued because the lack of decriminalizing them. All right, Alphria, actually slightly overvalued, trading at 547, value of 415, 416. Aurora, very close to its value. That's one that price and value are pretty close to each other. Tilray, way over theirs as well. All right, relative value. Which ones of these stocks have good upside potential? Growth Generation, RV at 1.37. That's the only stock in the list that's got good upside potential. Which is the safest stock in here? Looks like Growth Generation as well, with relative safety at 0.96. It's still below 1. Which ones are moving up? Just about all of them. Relative timing on growth is at 1.74. On CGC, 1.55. On Alphria, 1.04. And the two that are lagging behind are ACB and Tilray. When I look at ACB and Tilray, our indicators are below 1 across the board. Whereas if I look at Growth Generation, good upside potential, and moving up in price, it's a little riskier stock. Now, something else I want to take a look at. How about Growth Generation grows their earnings at a clip of 45% a year? That's huge. All right. Now, let me go take a look at these stocks on a graph. All right. I'm giving you the perspective of which ones of these, from a marijuana perspective, you should consider. Put this on a 3-month graph. Look at Growth Generation. Look at Growth Generation. Look at that trend line moving up. I'm going to make that line a little darker. That's the epitome of an upward trending stock. Above the 20-day exponential moving average, a lot more than below. It took a hit for the last couple of days, but now rebounding nicely. Look at that relative timing. If I'm going to look for a stock to get into in this industry, I like its upside potential. I like that it's in an uptrend. I love that they grow their earnings at a clip of 45% a year. This is a stock that I really like in this space. It's only $25. I would be in it 12 cents higher than the high right now. And notice that even when the stock pulled back down, it still stayed above that 20-day exponential moving average. I like that. That's a stock in this industry I like. What's the next stock? CGC had a little bit of a pullback in the first month and a half of this 3-month graph, but then since then, as the marijuana industry has grown, so is CGC. Watch the relative timing. It is above 1, but pulling back a little bit. As the stock is pulling back, it is still above the 20-day exponential moving average. MJ, this looks at the whole industry. If you didn't know that there was an ETF that tracks the marijuana industry, here it is, MJ. Now, I like that as we were getting closer, and I want you to see this. As we were getting closer and closer to the election, there's 11.5, there's 11.4, here's 11.3. As we got 11.4, 11.5 into getting closer to saying who the president was going to be, knowing that it was going to be Biden, marijuana stocks took off. Then they pulled back a little bit, as you can see right now. Overall, this is the whole industry. Still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Watch RT. I'm going to say keep your eye on MJ to watch the whole entire industry. But when I look at a stock like GRWG, this is definitely telling me it's a leader in the industry. All right, what's the next stock? Alphria. A lot more jagosity, a lot more volatility in this stock. Whereas the GRWG, the growth stock, was a lot more steady in its price movement. Alphria, buying Sweetwater, buying the brewery, which should be done by the end of the year, by the way, a little bit more jagged in its price. If you're going to get into a stock, especially that's a little bit more speculative, make sure you're looking at a stock like GRWG. I'm not going to tell you not to get into Alphria. It is above the 20-day exponential moving average, but look at the conviction of the volume is starting to pull back. All right, just keep that in mind. Next one, ACB. Wow, a lot more downward move on it. It did pop up what the rest of the marijuana stocks did, but as it's pulling back, it's pulling harder back than some of the other marijuana stocks is as well. Not as good a choice as some of the other stocks that we've looked at. And the last one, Tilray, actually bumping up as well, but look at the pullback. So I want you to look at all of these stocks that are pulling back. Let's go back up to GRWG. It pulled back, but look how quickly it responded to go back up. If I'm looking at a stock in this space, GRWG is definitely a stock that I want to look at. All right, someone keeps telling me Planet 13. What the flying flip is Planet 13? Planet 13, what is that? Is that another weed stock? Yep, it's healthcare marijuana. Somebody says it's killing it. You see the jagicity in this one as well. GRWG is probably it for me. But look at the value. Look at below the 20-day exponential moving average. Look at the time RT below 1. Again, my suggestion is looking at both the analysis on the stock and the graph on the stock. GRWG is the way to go. GRWG is I like that. Paul says GRWG, the Home Depot for weed growers. I like that stock. So Planet 13, not nearly as good as some of the other stocks that we looked at. A little bit more volatile in the move. But you know something? As long as you're willing to play the volatility, that's up to you. Totally up to you. Could you, I'll just leave that alone. All right, any other questions? If there's no other questions, I'm going to keep on moving. If you like the content that you've seen here so far today, folks, hit the like button. Please, hit the like button. Let me know that you like the analysis. Catherine says, on August 11th, Glenn gave us a recommendation on GRWG. It was selling at $9.41. It's up over 170%. The past 3 months. Thank you, Catherine. I love that. I keep looking at the wrong place for the camera. Joey moved my camera. But Catherine, thank you for paying attention to that. I don't always like to pat myself on the back, but thank you for that, Catherine. That means that she's getting some information out of it. And you know something? This stuff is not coming off of my head. I'm using the software to analyze this stuff. I'm using the software to analyze what you're looking at. This is not what Glenn says. All right. Thank you again for that, Catherine. All right. If there's no other questions, I'm going to move on to my next story. My next story deals with crude oil. Now, the reason why crude oil is in here, for the same reasons. Just like marijuana is an industry that's moving because of the incoming administration, oil seems to be as well. Now, everybody type in the room. What moves oil? All right, what moves oil? I've been preaching this to you guys for the last few months. What moves oil? All right, and demand is it. That's absolutely right. It's demand. Not a lot of people. Are you guys asleep today? Are they asleep today, Joey?
No, just a little behind.
Just a little behind? All right.
I heard you first.
You heard you. Well, you're supposed to hear me first.
Fine,
Oh, Joey typed it in first? Wow, really, Joey? All right. It is demand. So Venkat is right. Logically, oil should go down. We're going to talk about that in a second. I just wanted everybody to understand that oil is rocking and rolling because the administration that's coming in, rocking and rolling. I need you to understand that demand moves oil. So look at this. Crude oil prices extend gains on what? Demand recovery hopes. That's the key word there. Oil is moving, but on hopes. And you know, Mike is right. Lockdowns are bad for oil demand. Why? Because people are home. Now, going into I'm going to spin off of that for a second, Mike. People are working from home. I think companies are realizing that their employees are more productive at home than they are at work. Something that's going to happen in the near future, in case you didn't know. I think based on that, along with oil, is that we're going to have a bust in commercial real estate because a lot of companies are going to say, why do I need that office space when I can do just as good as I'm supposed to with people working at home? Something to just keep that in mind. That's all I'm trying to say. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So this story talks about recovery hopes. Here's my big story in regards to that. Saudi's Aramco's net profit drops 45% in the third quarter on what? Weak oil demand. So Venkat, I'm with you. Theoretically, oil should be falling, but it's not. I think it's all in anticipation of the incoming administration. But it's interesting because the administration says they're going to get rid of fracking. This is a weirdness going on with petroleum, but it's moving. All right, what I'm doing is I am still giving you the rest of the story. I look at the same news that you do, and I want to put some perspective behind what's moving. The industry is moving, but the demand is not there, folks. The demand is not there. And what else is moving in that whole energy space? Clean energy. That's another reason why oil should be falling. The demand, if more people are going to start going to clean energy or electric cars, what do you think that's going to do for oil? So this is a little bit of a dichotomy for me when you're looking at oil rising when the demand is not there. So I'm looking at, for those people who are looking at those oil stocks, just be careful. All right, just be careful. The news could be putting you in the wrong direction. So I'm going to take this a step further. Let me get back into the software. I look at one specific ticker symbol when we talk about oil. It's WTI. You notice where WTI, WNT offshore, you know where it's at? It's all the way at the bottom of the list. It's got the worst combination of value, safety, and timing. It's at the bottom of the list. Let's take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at it. View the stock graph. There's oil. All right, and the reason people see, why do you always use that? Because as oil goes, tends to WTI goes as well. As oil goes, so is WTI. So let's go talk about that pop coming into the election. Let's talk about that pop. Where's 11.3? There's 11.6. There's 11.2. There's 11.3. As we got closer and closer to calling a president, there's the pop. And what's going on since then? It popped up above the 20-day exponential moving average, but look at for the last 3 months. Where has it resided? Below the 20-day exponential moving average. RT, which tells us if a stock is in an uptrend or not. Where has it resided? Below the one line. There's nothing good about oil if the demand is not there. And without the demand, what's oil starting to do right now? Pull back down, coming closer to the 20-day exponential moving average, and RT is below 1. All right. Anybody have any questions in regards to the petroleum side? It looks like it's running, but I'm here to give you the rest of the story by the analysis. I want to do something else. From the analysis perspective, what else do we have? I've got petroleum stocks. Before anybody asks, well, I can't see that in my software. It's because I created it. I looked at all of the petroleum stocks. I put them, they all had to be greater than $1, all had to be greater than 100,000 shares. 65 stocks in here. I want to show you the watch list average. View the watch list average. Look at that. So we looked at WTI. Here's the watch list average of 65 oil stocks. There is that pop as we got closer and closer to election. What's going on? This is above the 20-day exponential moving average. RT did pop above 1, but now I'm looking at 65 stocks. I think this is a better representation. Let's see what happens with it. All right, the demand is not there. Any questions? Winter is coming too. Oil for heating will be in demand. That's true. But I don't know if we're going to get enough demand from heating our homes to overcome the deficit in the amount of supply we have compared to demand. I think demand will pick up. Will oil pick up a little bit during the winter months? It normally does, and I think it still will this year. I still think it will this year. But after the heating season, then what? Where's the demand? All right? Anybody else have any in it? Let's see. John says, oil is not going away. Let's see cargo ships run on solar. AOC is designing, oh boy. Stop. No politics. That's funny. No politics in the room. That was funny. I'm going to give you a hand for that. That was kind of funny. All I'm saying is I don't think that oil is going away. Never said that, nor will I ever say that. But I'm saying what's going to increase the price of oil is going to be demand. If the demand is not there, how does oil effectively go up? That's all I got to say about that. Hurricane of the Month Club is impacting golf production. That's another thing. Yeah. We've had how many hurricanes hit this year, Joey?
Several.
Yeah, that's the technical number. Several. Thank you. That's the technical number. Several. That has hampered our production as well. All right. So with that, no more questions, except the most parts of Asia has reopened. All right. Boom. All right. No more questions.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Why does my Siri do that at least once every freaking session? All right. Let's go to my stocks of interest. It scared me that time. It did scare me. Freaking scared me. All right. I did one. Here's one. Where's the story? This is the story. BP. Ørsted and BP look to develop major renewable hydrogen project in Germany. That's an oil company, y'all. How about that? How about maybe, possibly, BP sees the writing on the wall? That's an oil company. BP stands for British Petroleum, by the way, in case you didn't know that. All right, now that's good. You just learned something new today. They're getting into a renewable energy plant in Germany. How interesting is that? Now, once people begin to travel and take cruises, oil will go up. John, I'm going to cover that in a second. I will take care of covering that in a second. All right, but interesting that an oil company is looking at going into renewables as well. I just thought that was a story that caught my interest, and it should have been one of my stories of interest. Another one is Boeing. Where's Boeing? FAA to end the Boeing 737 MAX grounding as soon as November 18th. That's huge for Boeing. That's been an albatross for Boeing for almost a full year, if not more than that. Boeing went up, and this was on the 9th of November, as the Federal Aviation Administration reportedly is in the final stages of reviewing proposed changes to the 737 MAX. We all know that a couple of 737 MAXs went down, killed a lot of people. This has been big for Boeing. Could this be the right time to start thinking about getting into Boeing? Possibly. All right, we'll take a look at it. Now, the question came up about travel stocks. Well, how about this? Airline and casino stocks soar as Asia Pacific is back, Pacific on the back of coronavirus hopes, the vaccine hopes. So there was a part of the story that I wanted to see. I didn't do anything about the casinos. I was more interested in the airline stocks. Where is it? No, where's my part of the story? Oh, phooey. That's Pfizer, BioNTech. Crud. Airlines across the region surge, with Australia's Qantas gaining 8%, Hong Kong, Cathay Pacific, China Eastern Airlines, Japan Airlines, la. Hold on. Anyway, I've got another story on airlines as well, which is going to be Southwest, and that's another one. Southwest sees a slowdown. This is in the airline industry. All right, so someone said that, there it is, that was John. Once people begin to travel and take cruises, oil will go up. How about Southwest Airlines sees a slowdown as COVID-19 cases spike? Airlines aren't going to start going back up until we get a bona fide vaccine in place and people are going to feel more comfortable traveling. All right, until people, that's probably when it's going to happen. When people see a real vaccine and they get inoculated against it. I think people are itching to travel. People are itching to travel, but are you willing to get on a full plane with people and possibly catch COVID? I think that's weighing heavily on people's minds. All right, so Southwest within this space is saying that they see a slowdown. Now, something else possibly could happen. I'm thinking that some stimulus is going to happen for airlines as well to keep them afloat, because I've done stories in the past on the airline industry that they're looking to lay off a lot of people because of this. All right, so those are my stories of interest this week. Let's go into the software. Let's go look at let's do this first. Before I go look at the airline stocks, I've got a whole watch list of travel stocks from across the whole region, 37 stocks, which looks at the hotels. It does look at the airlines. It does look at the cruise lines. I've created my own watch list of all of that to show my travel stocks. Let's do this. I want to look at the watch list average of all of these. They are starting to bump up. All right, and this was on hopes. All right, this was on hopes. Where was that big bump up? I bet you that was on the 9th. I bet you that was on the 9th when we had that big jump up. Yep, 11.9. All right, when we had that big jump up in the market, airline stocks felt it. And what are they doing now? This is all on hopes. And look at all of that give back and look at that follow through to the downside. I'm not willing to jump on the travel stocks yet. And this watch list is looking at everything within travel. But let's get back to today's watch list, 11, 12. The stocks that I'm looking at are going to be Boeing. What else was I looking at? BP. Where's that at? There's Boeing. There's BP. Here's my ETF for all of the airlines, JETS, and last but not least, love Southwest Airlines. These are my stocks of interest this week to keep our eyes on. I'm going to go straight to the graphs. Let's go straight to the graph. View the stock graph. Am I ready to take Boeing with the news yet? Big bump up as the news came out. With the 9th was the news date, something like that, right? I believe it was on the 9th, somewhere up in there. What is that? That's the 9th. There's the news that came out on Boeing. But man, look at the pullback on it. Still above the 20-day exponential moving average. For the purposes of getting into it, let's see if the stock can take out that high. I want to make sure that I'm buying into a rising stock. I'm saying that with the news, it does have the potential to go up. Let the trade come to you, though. Don't start buying it now and dollar cost averaging down. Say, well, I really want to buy low. I want you to buy smart. All right, I know the goal is to always to buy low and sell high. I'd rather you to buy smart and make money. All right, so for me, I want to make sure I'm buying into the stock that's rising. Right now, it's not. If you own it, be careful. Notice that it gapped up. Noticing that we're starting to get into the area of fading the gap, that's not a good sign. All right, it's not a good sign. Let's go to the next one. British Petroleum going into that whole BP, going into that whole idea of a hydrogen plant hydrogen renewable plant in Germany. Story made the stock pop up, but look at it pull back. Watch the volume pulling back, and the stock is now back in a downtrend right now. And let's go to the next stock in here, Jets, Jets, Jets. I'm a Giants fan, by the way. But look at that. You're saying that when when these airlines start moving again, the oil will go up. They ain't moving. That was one day, don't make a trend, folks. Again, that's on the 9th. That was such a big up day in the market. And look at all of the pullback. I'm not ready to touch that. Look at that level of resistance is serving as a current level of support. Look at that on a 3-month graph, serving as a level of support, possibly maybe breaking through it right now. Not ready to touch it. Not ready to touch it just quite yet. And last but not least, we have in that airline space, Love. Love, if you look at that airline as compared to the JETS, it's been doing a better job, but I'm not feeling that. It's a shooting star pattern that normally is found at the top. It still nonetheless is followed through to the bearish side. All right, anybody got any questions on my stocks of interest today? All right. Anybody got any questions on my stocks of interest? So, Mike, in your opinion, we are going to see consolidation of airlines along with hotels and restaurants. So, Mike, my job here is always going to be to tell you, let the trades come to you. Don't try to guess them, because every time you try to guess at what they're going to do, the market has a way of humbling you each and every time. I always want you guys to plan your trades and trade your plan. Not only that, let the trade coming to you. Let the trade come to you. All right. Any questions? No questions? No questions? No questions? Vaccines are not going to really happen for 2 years, says Sandy. I think you're sort of kind of right on that, because a lot of these companies have to have a lot more testing than what they're doing right now. I'm not doing Bitcoin today, Ulrich. I've done that for the past couple of weeks. I'm not doing it today. I may think about doing it again next week, but I'm not doing it today. And Ram, yes, I do like mRNA as of right now. All right, AMC theaters are looking for a pop. We'll take a look at some of these stocks. All right, if there's no more questions, is there a contra ETF for Jets, Mike? Not that I know of. Man, I'm still getting all these alerts. We're getting a lot of rain here, and we keep getting these alerts about flash flood warnings. What do you mean, let the trade come to you? So, Trevor, if I'm looking to get into a stock, let's say I'm trying to be bullish on these stocks. All right, what I mean by let the trade come to you, make sure I'm buying. I put a buy stop order higher than the most recent high. Let the stock come to you. Let the rising stock come to you before the order triggers. That's what I mean by let the trade come to you. All right. Is there a marijuana search in the software? I believe that there is. It's called Marijuana Magic. All right. If I go back into the software, where do I want to be? I'll be here. Within the Unisearch tool, Unisearch. How about this? You type in the word marijuana. It'll find you all of the, type in the letter M. Type in the letter M. It'll find you all of the searches that start with M. There's two of them here. Actually, marijuana stocks. DR means Derby Ready. I've got some people in here from the Jockey Club, from the Derby, and Marijuana Magic. So Marijuana Magic, which looks at all of the stocks within the healthcare marijuana industry, and then we have Marijuana Stocks, which makes sure that the stocks within the marijuana industry have a price greater than 50 cents with a moving average volume of at least 100,000 shares. Folks, if you want this kind of information, you don't already have a trial, 99-cent trial. It's pinned to the top of the chat. Click on that. We want to make sure that we give the 99-cent trial to our YouTube people. Somebody says FLYX. FLYX is the Contra airline ETF. Rich, if that's the right one, man, I'm with you. Thank you for that. That's awesome. All right, that's awesome. All right, so with that, folks, if there's no more questions, let's go track some of your stocks. All right, so we're going to go look at your stocks. I've seen some stocks that were in the room. All right, I'm going to start off with those, and then Joey's going to call off stocks for me. DXYM, TCNNF, CLME, AMC, FLYX. I don't track it. I don't track that I don't have that. All right, Joey, give them to me, baby. RTX. ECOM. FS. What? FSR. Okay. VXRT. PGR. TMO.
Trying to find people that aren't usually in here.
MOTS. Joey's looking for a lot of new people. BWEN. Broadwind. Okay. BKE.
Yes, sir.
Is that Burger King? No. Okay. Why am I always thinking about food?
All the time. C.
Citigroup.
C.
All right. Anything else?
Let's do TER.
TER. Teradyne.
Yep.
Tesla. I'll do a DHA.
I'm getting a lot of NKLA, so let's do that.
NKLA. One more. I got it. NVMI. No, I like LOB too. LOB, comma NV. UAVS. All right, that's it. Now, because you gave me this many stocks to look at, I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because that's a lot of stocks I got to go through. That's a lot of stocks I got to go through. All right, if for anybody whose stock that we did not put in, Joey put a link in there for a free stock analysis report on any stock that you want, on any stocks that you want. So take a look at that link, click on it. All you have to do is submit your stock in your email so we can email you the stock analysis report. All right, so there we go. All right. Let's go through them. Let's get them. I'm going to put them all on a 3-month graph. This is my standard layout, 20-day exponential moving average, volume, and relative timing. And here we go. IPHI. Somebody said that it's been up big time, that they've been a user of the software and that I've never looked at it. And I don't know if I've never not looked at it. But nonetheless, stock gapped up here on when? Gapped up here on 1029. Was that an earnings play? Yep, it was an earnings play. I could put earnings on the graph. There was an earnings play on 1029. Stock's price went up, pulling back right now. If you own the stock, leave it alone. Let your stops manage the trade. The stock is starting to move sideways right now. RT is still above 1. Pulled back a little bit, but the stock is in an uptrend. It is just pulling back off of this high. Just be careful with it. Tighten your stops. Next stock. Wow. DXYM. Building products. Love it. Earnings play here on 11.5. Look at the stock just rise up. I like that stock. Now, a couple of things that I don't like. The lack of volume as the stock's price is going up. As the stock's price is going up, look at the pullback in volume. And one last thing, the big wicks, as Jesse would call them, big hair on the ticker symbols, on the candles. That shows a lot of bearish pressure on the stock. Bearish pressure here, not much follow through. Bearish pressure here, not much follow through. Clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Watch volume, though. As the stock's price is rising like this, it should be doing so on good volume. RT is pegged at 2 because the stock is full-blown in a upward trend. Next stock, I like TCNNF. Another marijuana stock, definitely moving higher. Love that RT is moving higher on it as well. Out of the stocks, we were looking at GRWG. This may not be a bad play either. Both of them are around that $25 range. Clearly moving up on the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is pretty steady. RT is pretty steady. I do like that stock from that perspective. I'd make sure I would buy as the stock is hitting its most, it's got to go about 12 cents higher than its most recent high. Stock has been a buy recommendation. I like this in the cannabis space. I do like this in the cannabis space. Next one, clean energy. Earnings happen on 11.5. I don't know what made the stock move so big today. I can always click on from this software. I can always click on news. It's up 14% today. How cool is this? 6 days ago, let's go to press release. Let's see if there's anything that happened today. 7 days. I don't see. Something is making it go up. I don't have news on it. The stock is up nicely today. I'm not sure why. Do I want to take it today? It's a $3 stock. I'm going to tell you that the stock closed yesterday at 283. It's gone up as high as 326. Not a big $1 move, but I would keep my eye on it. You know why? Because what goes up must come down. What goes up? Insider trading, says John. I don't know. Something is making it go up, but what goes up that big tends to go down pretty quickly as well. Be careful with that. If you are fortunate enough to either be in it from yesterday or in it today, let your stops manage the trade. Not much in the way of a wick at the top, so I like that. It's a good, strong day on good, strong volume and a big shoot up of RT. That's not a bad play. It is more of a, I'm not going to call that a swing trade, though. RV below 1, RS below 1. How about the stock is still overall oh, no, here we go. RV still below 1, RS below 1, RT. The only thing that's helping is that RT is above 1. This is more of a speculative trade. Straight up, the fundamentals are not behind it. Let's go to the next one, AMC. I saw a news article that they're looking to rent out theaters for like $99 or something along those lines. Nobody's going to the movies. Why? Because of COVID-19. I think a lot of these theaters are going to feel that effect. They are going to feel that effect. They popped up. Was this another one of the 11.9 things? Let's go back to the date line. Was that 11.9? Yep, 11.9. Everything in the world went up on 11.9 and pulled back. Look at it now pulling back below the 20-day exponential moving average after spending it a lot of time below that moving average, and RT spending below the value of 1 as well. Hi, Lou. I guess who cares what I was looking for? What is that free pairs? No, I put stocks in here. If I missed your stocks, it's not that I don't care. You do see the chat in here. Do you not, free pairs? You do see all of the stocks that came across the board, right? So I say that because I can't get everybody's stock. I just can't. And Joey put a link in here that if I did miss your stocks, that you could get a free stock analysis report. For anybody, and I got to put this out there, for anybody who ever feels that I slight them personally by not looking at your stocks, get over yourself a little bit, all right? Look at the chat. Look at the chat. There's all those stocks that come up. It's not that I don't care. I give you the process that if I don't show your stocks in here, click that link. All right, click that link. You can get an analysis on all of those stocks for you free. You can get a stock on all of those stocks. All right, so there we go. I just want to put that out there. That gets to me a little bit when you're not listening to my stocks. Did you see the chat? Did you see the stocks that came in? All right. So AMC below the 20-day exponential moving average, RT below 1, not a stock that I would want to be in. And even on that big up day, one day doesn't make a trend. Look at that pullback. All right. Let's go to RTX. A little choppy in the move. All right. A little choppy in the move. It gapped up again on the 9th. Look at that gap up. Look at that pullback. It gapped down today. I'm not sure. Look at relative value below 1, relative safety below 1. Only thing that's helping is relative timing is above 1, but pulling back. All right, so just keep your eyes on it. If you own that stock, I would make sure I manage the stock with the stops that I have in place. All right, I like the move coming up off of the low, breaking above the 20-day, gapping up, but watch, you don't want to give it all back. All right, you really don't want to give it all back. All right, let's go to the next stock. Wow, Ecom. Nice move up. I'm not sure what pushed it up right here, but following from the technicals just on the graph, went above the 20-day exponential moving average, and then boom, fell, bounced back up and falling hard. I'm not sure I want to be in it right now. Now, the reason why a lot of people, not everybody for the most part knows why I like to look at a 3-month graph. What happens every 3 months on a stock? All right, what happens every 3 months on the stock? Earnings. What's the biggest mover of a stock's price? Earnings. That's the reason why I look at a 3-month graph from that perspective. If I'm looking to hold the stock longer, then I'd look at a graph about a year or longer. But for the most part, on a stock that you guys bring up for me, I try to help you from a swing trade perspective on if it's okay or not okay to be in the stock. All right, I bought this one when you recommended it and got a cool 25% gain. Thanks, Glenn. Listen, it wasn't me. I use the software to help me to make a good decision on when to get in. This RT indicator is not a bad indicator as well to help you to know when it's all ready to get in here. All right, would go through some of the stocks I listed, but they're not always ignored free. They're not. You notice that the stocks that I started putting in from the beginning were stocks that I'm looking at throughout the chat so that I can try to pull up stocks that you guys are asking me for along the way. All right, so I try as hard as I can to get as many as your stocks. That's why the stocks that Joey did not call out in the beginning were stocks that you were typing in the chat, and I just wrote them down to try to get them. So, listen, that's all I got to say about that. And I'm not going to address that anymore today. I think it's detracting away from what I'm doing right now. I try very hard to accommodate as many people in this room as I possibly can, okay? So Ecom, I'm not feeling it now, and people are saying in the room that there was an opportunity. You take the opportunities when they come. All right? You take the opportunities when they come, but you learn not to give it all back. All right? You learn not to give it all back, and from a technical standpoint, not only that, how about the stock got a sell recommendation? Ecom is a buy here, bottom fishing. Woo! I don't know what's telling you it's okay to start bottom fishing. You know something? Let me show you a little something. I'm going to add a parameter, technical analysis. Let's go see if it's even at a level of support that you're willing to take. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. Let's go put this, change the settings. Going to put this on the 100 bars instead. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing that tells me it's time to look at it yet. All right. And you know something? I'm all with bottom fishing. You know what I'm looking for? I'm going to show you something else. You know what I'm looking for in the bottom fishing? How do you know when a stock is at its low? Anybody want to answer that? How do you know when a stock is hit a bottom? Anybody want to answer that? How do you know when a stock has hit a bottom? All right. When it starts to go back up. So watch this. You see right here? You want to know a good bottom fishing opportunity? Watch this. Go down. What's that candlestick pattern right there? Anybody? What's that candlestick pattern right there? Let's go see if anybody's got it. Candlestick pattern. I know there's a little bit of a delay. A hammer. A hammer is doing what? That looks for a possible reversal. That's an opportunity where you start thinking about bottom fishing. Boom. What did the stock's price do? What am I looking at right now? I got nothing. Oh, nobody could see it because it's behind my head. Oh, man. Yeah, it was a hammer. There you go. Sorry about that. That was a hammer. That was my fault. My head was in the way. Everybody's saying that my head was in the way. Ay. Anyway, there you go. But that was a hammer. Look at it. I got no patterns right here. I got no patterns here to tell me to start thinking about bottom fishing. I got nothing. All right, so be careful if you're thinking about bottom fishing. Fisker, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is a good stock to keep your eyes on. It's in the electric space, a new company that we started tracking. I like this company. I just want to make sure that you're in it at the right time. The stock is moving up. A lot of selling pressure with big wicks at the top. Big volume today as compared to some of the other days. This is definitely a company that I want you guys to keep your eyes on. All right? I really, really do. I really want you to keep your eyes on this. All right? Right now, though, let's go see if it can get out of its own way. I got a couple of levels of resistance right here. Let's see if it can get above that first. Vaxart, news-driven. Just recently closed above the 20-day exponential moving average. I really want RT to get above 1. But you want a bottom fish here a little bit. I don't even have a bullish harami here. It's just moving up. I like that it's above. I like the rising volume. I would be more of a bottom fisher here than not. All right. There it is. Mark says, I told you, Mark. Mark was like, how I'm going to watch Trending Thursday and the Masters. He says, folks, I muted the Masters for this. It really works like the page. There you go. I like that, Mark. All right, let me get finished through these stocks. PGR, another stock that I could possibly bottom fish right now. Candlestick pattern right here, known as a bullish harami follow through. Look at that, crossing above. Really would like to see the relative timing go back above the value of 1 first, but that's more of a bottom fishing candidate as well. All right, next one, TMO, looks really good. It got hit. A lot of people, I got a lot of calls on that. Why did it get hit? I don't know what news pushed it down. I think it had something to do with the vaccine coming out, the vaccine news about Pfizer. But you know something, a good quality stock like this will have the wherewithal to keep moving up. I wouldn't give up on TMO. Love the equity curve, just the 2 big down days. But now look how quickly it rebounded and got back above the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, so just look at that. Dawn says, thanks so much. Just picked up 400 shares of GRWG. Nonetheless, just managed to trade, Dawn. Just managed to trade. All right, let's keep on moving. Next stock. Wow. No. You see that commercial about no. Come on now. No. That's this stock. Yes, I watch a lot of TV. I do. What is that commercial for? Do you remember? No. Come on. No. What commercial? I forget. Whatever. That's this stock right here. That's exactly this stock. This stock encapsulates that commercial. I'm not ready to touch it. It's a Discover commercial. Thank you, Mark. How come you couldn't tell me that, Joey? You know why? That's what.
Good job of explaining it.
What do you mean? I did
Is it from all the TVs?
I did the commercial perfectly. Mark knew it.
So.
I did the
I think
commercial.
he's just putting stuff in there. He was talking about something else.
Anyway, I did the commercial. Anybody disagree that I did that commercial perfectly?
Way.
I did that commercial perfectly. Anyway, Mott's is not a stock that I like. It's been a sell for the whole 3-month time period. RT is below 1, spent more time below the 20-day exponential moving average than not. I don't like that. And if you're in it, hopefully you're short. Oh, it's 72 cents. You can't even short it. Yeah, I'm not feeling that stock. All right. You didn't do Drew. I did. Did I not? I did. And Drew's not in that commercial. Of course you're perfect, says Ninja. I like that. What? No, Drew is not in it. I did it. I did all of that. No. I didn't do nuh-uh. I didn't do nuh-uh, did I? Yeah, I didn't. Okay. I didn't do nuh-uh. All right, and Drew says, don't give up your day job. All right, Drew. But Machinery Industrial, BWEN, earnings came out. Evidently, everybody didn't like earnings. All right, look at that. Must have missed on earnings. It gapped down below the 20-day exponential moving average. RT is below 1. Not a good time to be in the stock. It did have a little bit of a run. Right now is not the time, based upon the graph, to be in it. Now, I like Buckle. Oh, that's what BKE is. Love that as a retail stock. One of the few retail stocks that look this good. There's a couple of others that are out there, but Buckle, look at that. Pull back. What's that candlestick pattern right there? Anybody want to know? That's a one black crow with follow through. Be careful. If you own that stock, today could be a good opportunity to get out. If you want to give the stock a little bit more room, give it to the 20-day exponential moving average. RT is falling, still clearly above 1. I like the smoothness of this graph. If you own it, let your stops manage the trade right now. Don't panic. Let your stops. If it hits your stops, though, get out. If this is a stock that you're looking to own long-term, put this on a 5-year graph. Put it on a 1-year graph. I like it a little bit better on a 1-year graph. If this is a stock that I want to own long-term, I'd be selling covered calls right now. I'd be selling covered calls to help alleviate the decrease in price and to help me with the price depreciation. All right. What else is in here? Citigroup, the banks. I'm not ready for banks yet. The stock found a level of support, stayed there for a little bit, did gap up above that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is there. RT is falling. If you're in it, leave it alone. If you're in it, let your stops manage the trades. If you're in it, let the stops manage the trades. If you're not in it, I'd wait and buy as the stock gets out of its own way. All right. Teradyne, nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average, pulling back a little bit. RT is still above 1, leveling out. Volume is not there. What the flying flip is going on with volume? I'm not feeling. Oh, I know why. All right, volume, there it is. Volume looks better. Why? Because it accommodated that big up bar right there. I took that out of the equation, and now I can see volume a little better. I don't mind this stock. I'd wait to see if it can break. If I don't own it, let's see if it can break above that most recent high by 12 cents. If I'm in it, leave it alone. If I'm in it, leave it alone. I love that it spends majority of its time above that 20-day moving average. Tesla. In the EV field, you know what's going on with Tesla? There's a lot of competition coming after Tesla. Tesla's still the big boy, right? Now you got Nikola out there. You got Workhorse. You got NIO. There's a lot of, you got XPEV. There's a lot of stocks that I've talked about here on Trending Thursday. Notice that it was in a channel, in a wedge. It never really broke out of the wedge. It just kept on. It looks, you know what that looks like? That looks like a lizard. You see the lizard's head, and here's the tongue sticking out? You see it. I know you see it. Everybody see that but me? ESPI, I already talked about crude oil today. That was one of my stories. All right, that was one of my stories. Oil has still got a lack of demand. Does anybody see the lizard besides me? I do. Anyway, Tesla is moving right around its 20-day exponential moving average, moving a tad bit sideways right now. That's where it sits. If I own it, hopefully I'm letting my stops manage the trades. What is your take on retail industry with rising COVID cases and possible shutdown? Wait to buy. Alex, in regards to retail, you don't have to go out now to buy stuff. You can order it. I think that retail probably has been helped by COVID-19 because people don't have to come out to the stores. Online ordering is probably up tremendous. It's probably up tremendous. And some people say they see the lizard. All right, good. I'm glad. Joey didn't see because he's a weird. That's all right. DHI, the builders. You remember when the builders were hot? See right here? You remember when the builders were hot? And then they went, ooh. All right, this is why looking at graphs, this is why looking at trend lines, this is why looking at moving averages, this is why looking at support and resistance, this is why looking at stops. All of those things encapsulates your ability to hold on to profits. All right? If you were in it here and you gave it all back by sitting here, there's no reason why. There's so many different ways to have gotten out of this stock, so you would not have given all your profits back. Now, the question is it the right time to get in? Look at the Jagicity up and down around that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. With today's activity back below it, I'd find something better right now. I don't think, I showed you last week how to find out what the best industries were. I did that in Trending Thursday last week. Go back, take a look at that. I don't think that this is one of the hottest industries right now. If I'm in it, let your stops manage the trades. If I'm not in it, I'm probably not thinking about getting in it right now. Next up, Nikola. Man, and a lot of people are calling Nikola the next Tesla. Let him keep talking. Right now, Nikola is not doing it. It's not making me feel warm. Is this making you feel warm and fuzzy all over, Joey? You feel warm and fuzzy?
No.
Wow, you are weird. Joey wants to know if marijuana stocks are good. I'm asking for Joey. I'm asking for a friend. Nikola, no, I don't want to get you in trouble. Joey does not do that kind of stuff. Neither do I. We just don't. All right? We don't do that. Anyway, this is where the news comes in. Nikola is the next Tesla. Look at the graph. I'm not feeling it. I'm just so not feeling it. RV below 1, RS below 1, RT below 1. The stock is not making it happen. Did you say Jagicity? Oh, David, yes. Oh, are you new to listening to me, David? I got a book. Can you get that off the wall? I got a book. David, are you here? I don't know if David is here. Where's my oh man. Is my book, my author here? David, are you here? I got a book. The Book of Glenisms. Words to Make Money With. Yes. I've had a customer write this for me as far as Glenisms. So, David, now you know those words that I make up, they are Glenisms.
So is it Jagosity or Jagicity?
It should be Jagosity. In the book is Jagosity. Jagicity is wrong. Right, Mark. Jagicity is wrong. It's Jagosity. It's Jagosity. Finna's in it. See, Joey's never read my book. But yeah, I got a book of Jagicities. Add the PDF link. I can't do it yet, David. I gotta make sure that the person who wrote the book, we gotta come to an agreement before I put it out there. Is it the right time to buy Gotina? Look at it. I'm not sure that workhorse have been stories that I've done in the past here on Trending Thursday. All right. Right now, I'm spending the time looking at the last few of your stocks that you wanted me to. So I'm going to spend my time here. Unfollow through. Is that in the book?
Yeah.
Unfollow through. Really? That's a Glenism. How do you get a copy of the book? You don't just quite yet. I don't know how to make that all happen yet. LOB, who gave me this stock? Type of me, whoever gave me this stock. This is a hell of a stock. This is a hell of a stock. I like that stock. There's nothing that I dislike. There you go, Trevor. That is a hell of that. There's nothing. I got to give you another hand for that. That is a good stock. Is it a good time to buy Ride? And again, after I finish analyzing these stocks, for everybody who's asking me about the stocks that you're asking me about, Joey has put a link in there for the stock analysis report. You can do that. What I want to get into here, yeah, I get in here as long as it goes 12 cents higher than the high. Make sure that I'm buying it as it's rising. Buy it I like this stock a lot. All right, and the last stock in the book, UAVs, petroleum, American Eagle Area. This is one petroleum stock that is moving. This is a leader in that industry. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a leader in that industry and that it's moving. A lot of other petroleum stocks, WTI was only one, but a lot of other petroleum stocks that you saw in that watch list that we created, overall were moving down. This stock is moving up. If you're going to look for a stock in the petroleum industry, be careful with it, because if the demand is not there, I know this is in U.S. exploration production. If the demand is not there, folks, what do you think is going to happen to even some of the best stocks in that industry? Just keep that in mind. I like it right now. Relative value below 1, relative safety below 1, and relative timing is below. Oh, there it is. Relative timing is above 1. This is strictly a trade. The fundamentals are not there for this stock. But the stock is going up. UAVs makes drones and has a possible deal with Amazon for drone delivery. All right. I like what I see here coming off of this low. This is one that I would look for. This is definitely, as long as it's going higher than, here's a level of resistance though. I would go 5 cents higher than 274. That's a beautiful level of resistance. Let it break above that. All right, folks, I'm done for today. Any stocks that I did not look at for yours, again, do not take it personally. Joey has put into the room several times the link for you to go look at a free stock analysis report. Take advantage of that, number one. Number two, if you're not a subscriber to the software, 99 cents for 30 days is out there for you. I do want to plug one of our courses that's coming up, VectorVest.com/URS, Ultimate Retirement Solutions. Jim Penner, the manager of education, manager of retirement, is doing a course for any of you guys who are interested in better managing your retirement. That is a full encompassing course that helps you with your retirement. www.vectorvest.com/URS. For those of you who ever miss these live sessions, these are podcastable. Go to your favorite location to find podcasts. Search for Trending Thursday. And these sessions, I try to talk in these so that if you are listening by way of podcast, that you understand to a certain degree what I'm talking about. All right. So if you're not able to make them here live, we do have podcasts. And there you go. Is Tesla a buy now or pass? I already looked at Tesla. I wouldn't get into Tesla. I made that. Did I not? I did. I wouldn't get into Tesla right now. The stock is moving sideways. I want to make sure I'm buying into a rising stock. All right, so I probably wouldn't get into it right now. Sandy says, thanks, Glenn. I learn each week. Have the software, but suggest anyone here to buy it for 99 cents to trial and see what we're talking about. I'm going to do, no, I'm not going to do anything else. I got to go. I just, no, PJ, I'm not. I want everybody to listen to the people that are in the room. Those are VectorVest subscribers. I can tell you as many times as I want you to take the 99 cent trial. Listen to the people who are already subscribers to the software. All right, listen to them. Listen to them, listen to them, listen to them. I think that it holds a little bit more weight when you hear it from them than just hearing it from me. I work here, so I'm going to tell you to buy it anyway. 99 cents, less than $1. All right. So with that, folks, I want to say thank you for joining me here today. All my new people that came here today, thank you. All my regulars that came here today, thank you. Hit the like button if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, folks. This is content I give every single week. All right. So with that, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha, salam, shalom, namaste. Adios. We're out of here. See ya.